Welcome to the last episode, in which I will read all of the last diary entries. And what I'm going to do is I will show every page I already read, and so you will be able, if you're interested, to read that for yourself again, to pause the video for that moment and read that page. And once we're at the one entries that we don't know yet, I will read those for you. So pause the video now if you're interested to read this entry. And this one we don't know yet, and it is a page we found. It is January the 28th. I dream of two cats playing and hiding in a suitcase. They get trapped inside, never seeing the light of day again. They suffocate. I carry a heavy load with blood on my shoulder. Bags full of vermin of the forest and dead cats in my luggage. February 27th. There is a strange feeling of unrest in the forest. I'm getting it from the trees and animals. What the hell is happening in this world? Altercation with the police in southern Poland. It seems like something serious is happening in Europe, but they are not saying anything. I think they are hiding the worst part. People say that the army is launching chemical agents over a little town. The people are mad, furious. Several cops have died, but the government denies it. It's snowing again today, and silence here is scary. March the 1st. Since that strange dream that I had, it seems like the world is awaking every day with a new revolution. Normally I don't pay too much attention to the news or television, but something serious is happening. That's for sure. Shannon is worried too. She wants us to go to the town to buy some food. Supplies, she says. She says that she's talked with some neighbors and they're getting prepared. There has been lots of tension that seemed forgotten in Europe. Wave of violence? New World War? I already said that you can't trust those commies. back a bit. Yeah. March the 7th. A week has passed since the last time I wrote. I didn't really know quite what to say today. They are talking about an infection. People are getting ill all around the world. They die easily. They are sacrificing animals. Europe is in quarantine and nobody knows what to do. There have already been some confirmed cases on the east coast of the USA. The Prime Minister says that there is nothing to be worried about, but nobody believes him. I forbade my wife from leaving the house. I will take care of everything. March the 10th. We had a meeting in the head office. One of the Mountie supervisors has come to visit us and given us some advice, plus information. It seems like it is a rabies epidemic, but the virus has mutated, he says, and like during any other epidemic, we need to take special precaution when dealing with wild animals. In some cases, the death and mutilations, like other problems in the forest, have stemmed from them. If a human is attacked, he will present the same symptoms almost immediately. We must raise the alarm about any sighting on the mountain. March the 12th. The wave of violence has spread beyond Europe. They say that the hospitals weren't ready for something like this. But what does something like this mean? What are they talking about? About an innocent rabies epidemic? No, I don't believe them. But the lies go further. People on the side of the ocean say that everything is under control. They are talking about more than 300 people being affected. But I don't really know if that word means the dead or the infected. Those buzzard politicians, they keep lying. Today, a plane crashes in the Gulf of Mexico. Nearly 150 people are missing. And is God considering doing anything? I am not a religious person, but I know that any wild fox that I protect out there is stronger and fairer than the God that they pray to. I need to go back to the forest, go back to the place where I am who I am, and where nothing worries me. March the 16th. Nobody walks the streets alone. Everyone goes with somebody else. We can chew the fear like greasy chewing gum that lasts forever. They broadcast some images on TV. A man entered a bank and without saying anything attacked the workers and customers. He didn't take a single cent. When he went out, the police shot him, but he kept walking towards them without fear. Too much blood on TV these days. March 23rd. Shannon, my wife, is very nervous, but she doesn't want Lydia to know it. We keep her out of it. March 25th. We've lost communication with the outside world. Yesterday I switched on the TV and they were broadcasting an emergency signal together with an irritating buzz. Also, the scouts in Ottawa are hiding. The radio isn't working either. We can't hear anything. Well, I lied. The local station is working, but they keep putting music on all day long. Nobody speaks, nobody tells us anything. There's a heavy silence. March 26th. I think that is the page we found in our dream. A dance of helicopters all morning. Shit, it's there again. It's the same one that has spent the night flying through the valley. It looks like the military is finally getting involved in the problem. They are emitting a message. The local population has to go to the aerodrome in the afternoon. There's no time, they say. It seems that the army will take us to a secure area. So the city is no longer secure. A tiny town, isolated from everything and surrounded by a deep forest, protected by mountains, is no longer secure. That the hell are these men talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. What the hell are these men talking about? I don't understand anything. Hope, how ironic. The city has become a place without hope. I must do something. My family is in danger. Whatever it is, it has arrived in Canada. What is that? Someone holding someone else. March 26th. I went down to the city and tried to speak to some of the men. People running, gathering around and stepping to each other. There are hundreds of suitcases and memories on the side of the road. People pile up their cars by the road that leads to the Hope Aerodrome. There's military everywhere. They're trying to organize the families and making them pass through control points. It's terrible. I saw how they killed an old man from the town right in front of me as a desperate cry of his wife and his 2 sons rang out. A dog barked when he walked by it. There was something in its eyes, in the eyes of the animal, as if it had detected or smelled something that only a dog can sense in a human. They undressed him. He had a chest injury, which he tried to hide with all his strength. A gunshot to the head, and his life ended. What should I do? Should I follow those in authority, believing in the words of those liars? Or should I escape to the woods with my wife and daughter? I don't know what to do, and I don't know what is best for us. I need to go back. I need to take care of the problem. In my own way, I must find a solution to all this. I'm desperate. I need to breathe. I need air in my head. It's going to. April the 20th. I haven't written anything for quite some time. Our town was overrun. I fought with Ben and the other men, but our barricades were useless, and there was no stopping them. When I got back to the house, Shannon and Lydia had gone, just like everyone else. There had been a mass exodus from the town of Hope. Parker and I followed, and since then we haven't separated even to answer the call of nature. We walked through the forest, fleeing the catastrophe, channeling our remorse until we reached Vancouver. We thought that in a big city thing would be better, that we'd find our people. How naive we were. Vancouver is unrecognizable. There's no food, no fuel, no hope. We ran away, taking shelter like animals, barely sleeping. There are hundreds of these things everywhere, shadows. That's what they've called them since it started. Shadows that live in the darkness, that once had a human form, that once belonged to men. Shadows of a life that has ended. Their sinister wails torment us night after night. I think of Shannon and Lydia every second. They're out there somewhere, frightened, on the run. Talk about looking for a needle in a haystack. So at that point, He already shot Lydia and Shannon and forgot about all that. I miss them so much. April the 13th. Today, Parker and I discovered a group of survivors. They had been hiding since the city collapsed more than a month ago, like in hope. They no longer have water and food, they are scared. They drift around the city's suburbs, and for a moment they were about to kill Ben and me. The group is composed of 2 adult males and 2 women. They are armed. One of the men is a cop, but he's very old. The other seems like he's never shot a gun in his life. He looks like a university professor. Redhead, skinny, cannon fodder. The women are twins, young. They are a reflection of each other. It seems that they are not related to the man, but I don't know why the men have been protecting them for such a long time. The old man says that he heard a message on the radio from a crashed police car. The message talks about a city on the other side of the border. He wants us to go south. He already talks about us as if we were a group. We, he says. We must help each other, he says. Ben thinks that it's the best to all go together. A group. A herd. Tomorrow we'll head to Seattle. There's a talk of a safe point. Immigration. Shannon and Lydia, they're somewhere in the road. And this is where, when we found the group, we know from the start of the game. May the 3rd. And again a front page. Ben and I made a strange discovery. Tonight we hid in the basement of a clinic. We will be safe there, said Ben. We entered before the rest of the group. But it smelled bad. There were insects all over the floor, shreds of skin and hair. There were hair and skin everywhere, and in the center of the room I could see the dogs, 2 dogs dead. 2 dogs that were looking for a safe place, I thought. They fought to death for a piece of rotten meat, and I wondered if we would suffer the same fate. But they didn't fight for the meat. No, I was wrong. In this place there was nothing that could be put into the mouth. There was nothing there except some medicines, serum, pills. They fought to the death, but died of a drug overdose. They died to become the first dog left with a useless ampoule of morphine stuck between its fangs. May the 6th. I found page again. I found some press clipping in the house of an old woman who decides to take her own life. The woman craved a hobby at the height of the catastrophe. I think it occurred only recently because of the smell of the body. It appears that they declared a war all over the world, living humans against shadows of the dead. The government didn't skimp in order to fight against the disease. They used armies, firearms, hundreds of doctors. Each person defended himself in their own way. At the beginning of April, a nuclear power station in the Soviet Union exploded. I think it was called Chernobyl. It was abandoned to its fate. Atomic bombs were dropped in China, Korea, also in southeast of the United States, it seems. For a few days, the world became a gigantic fireball. I don't know what we are going to find in Seattle. On the road, you meet all types, but they are all heading to the same place. Safe heaven, safe point. Is on the radio, they say. Well, that's where we are heading. May the 14th. Surviving is not child's play, particularly when darkness falls. Nights repeat themselves and our travels never begin. We travel slowly, stealing fuel from abandoned cars. Sometimes we come across the shadows. Other times we must confront them. You must shoot them in the head, that's all. This is the only advice that God gives us to survive his apocalypse of the dead that wake up and walk. But if it is true, they are not alive. Why do they need to feed on us? No, the nightmare doesn't end at sunrise. We woke up at dawn in an abandoned barn next to the survivor group from Seattle, together with Ben. The twins were not sleeping this time. No, instead they were screaming. They were screaming outside. The university professor was outside for his watch. The university professor had been attacked while he was watching over us. A bite on his arm. He was bleeding. We had to clean up the area. Later the redhead guy, the damned university professor, bled to death in front of us, and he stopped breathing. We all knew what was going to happen to him next. Every single one of us. I had to sacrifice him. May the 29th. I think I'm going crazy. 2 nights ago, when the group stopped to rest in a dive that we had secured, I heard a noise in the back room. It wasn't a normal noise, it was a children's voice. A little girl's voice. Nobody would believe this, but after experiencing what we have lived with the dead, I'm sure that it was the voice of my daughter. I went into the back room and I could see her in the half-light. Lydia was there. Her eyes were like torches shining in the dark. She was dressed like before, like a princess. Somebody switches on the light and Lydia wasn't there anymore. The hallucination disappeared. It was Carla, one of the twins who stole my daughter's voice and was dressed like her and called for me in the silence. I don't know what is going on. I can't trust my senses anymore. And that is a lovely drawing. June the 7th. Lydia Shannon. Names that I can't forget. My head is dividing into thousands of fragments, little pieces of smashed crystals. Ground sugar, interrupted words, a puzzle that can't solve anymore. There is no future. These are the days without any tomorrows. July the 1st. When I was younger, I could remember everything. Things that happened and that did not happen. Now I have to look through these pages if I want to find my memory. To look through these pages? Yeah. We can see the city from far away and everything we heard about it seems true. Seattle is a ghost city. We never find a place that's nice and peaceful, because there isn't any. It didn't exist before, and even less so now. You can deceive yourself like this professor. You may think there is, but once you get there, when you're not looking, somebody will sneak up and fuck you right under your nose. July the 4th. And this is the last page. One of the girls died today. And this is how the game began. Young Carla died in an abandoned warehouse, and I no longer feel anything for her. I don't feel even a tiny bit. Grief is something that disappears with death. More than 4 months have already gone by since the start of this bloody disease that has destroyed our little world. Everything that we knew in the world is gone. 4 months that changed the rules of nature and human beings. Also 4 months without my wife and daughter. It's hard to keep on going when 4 months seem like 4 years. Harder still to keep hope alive. Doing my best to find them in the one only place they could be. Today even the young people die. And the thing that still puzzles me the most is that some keep living. Or whatever they call the condition they are in. We are survivors of a fading world. Well, we. Sometimes I doubt and wonder, are we alive or are we also dead? 2 days have passed since we entered Seattle looking for our last chance. It's the 4th of July today, a special day for Americans. Independence Day, they say, the birthday of the nation. How stupid to think about birth. No one will celebrate anything today. So, 4 months before the game started, the disease and that plague, that epidemic of the shadows started. And they decided to throw atomic bombs on the earth to handle with the shadows. That sounds like a great idea. Well, yeah, so that were all the diary entries. And now we can take a look at all the secrets I found. So this is the photo of my wife and daughter. Every moment that we had in the past. Honestly, I don't like to look at it. Yeah, I think I will not read all of these again because I read them, hopefully, and you can pause it again if you're interested to read that. And that's it. I think that maybe almost every secret one could find. Yes, I think Deadlight is an interesting game indeed. It was quite fun to play. I enjoyed it and I really liked the atmosphere. And I said that several times that I really liked the soundtrack, even though now that main theme is a bit repetitive, hearing almost like 35 minutes now in loop. But yeah, I listened to the soundtrack. I heard it sometimes. Yeah, I like these dark themes and that melancholic world, and that everything is going very, very badly. And also I think the ending is okay. I like that it has not really a happy ending. Well, it is a happy ending in some sense that not Carla died, but that other girl, we saved her, and she is the only survivor of the last group, of the last few people we know. And yeah, I don't know. The only part I was not too sure about if I like it or not was the part of the rat that with all the traps. That was the moment when it felt like it is not logical, it is a video game, so it's a classical platformer, but yeah, I like the mechanics, also the fighting mechanics, and yeah, it is a fun game. I recommend to try it yourself if you can grab it for a few bucks. And also the soundtrack, it's good. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I sure did. So see you in the next project. Have a nice day.